It doesn't sound right, but it doesn't sound right. Hi, خلينا نفرن بيوت نبشين نبنو ما تواب نوتين. Hi guys, glad everyone is here. We have a guest lecturer today. Is Dr. Well, on the way to be Dr. Karim Guirguis, who will be our lecturer today. Karim, do you want to give some intro? Well, more about your credentials. Like, why are you talking to us today? Why do we care about you?
You shouldn't care about me, but my yeah, no, professionally I'm a software engineer like you. We actually worked together, Mark and I, for a bit, but yeah, after that, alongside work and stuff, I did my master's in theology and now doing my doctorate, and I'm focusing mainly on medieval Coptic liturgy. So most of my knowledge is really in Saharic Coptic. My knowledge of Bohairic Coptic is almost sort of came through sort of like an Aristotelian accident by virtue of knowing Saharic and then sort of attending a Bohairic liturgy.
When you say medieval liturgies, liturgies were still predominantly, the church was predominantly Sahidic at this time, even in medieval time?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there were.
It depends, yeah. Like so you have in the 10th century, like stories of Muqaffa complaining that most people are now sort of illiterate in Coptic, and liturgies are starting to be translated up like by the 10th century at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You have you have like a few exceptions, like Upper Egypt and Soheg, where in the White Monastery and the Red Monasteries, they really persisted in the Saharic Coptic tradition. Other places.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting, but I want to add actually a point on yours. Is that there were what do you call Maqrizi actually talked about the Deir and Asyut. I forgot its name, but it's Dairut, especially in between Dairut and Asyut. I think so. He spoke about the their interpretation of the Bible in Saharic Coptic. Maqrizi was like a 16th century historian. He says that they still do this until now.
There are examples. So it persisted the latest, like Coptic persisted the latest in Upper Egypt. With the one exception outside of Upper Egypt was St. Macarius Monastery. We have like Ibn Qabr in the 14th century commenting saying, the readings, saying that we say the readings and we have to translate the readings for the laity attending liturgies, except for St. Macarius monasteries where they're singing the readings, reading the readings completely in Coptic. But at that time, in St. Macarius monastery and outside of Upper Egypt, it was Bohairic, but a slightly different sort of version than the Bohairic that we pray in liturgy today. But it's but before 10th century, you had like almost you barely had anything translated outside of Coptic.
When you say translated, like translated from like Greek, or not translated from Sahidic and it was still all in Sahidic?
No, I mean, like liturgically, you barely had any Arabic prayers. It was mostly in Coptic up until the 10th century. And starting the 10th century is when you start having things getting translated into Arabic. But yeah, as Karas mentioned, like it persisted, Coptic as a liturgical language persisted much longer up in Upper Egypt.
So within 300 years, Coptic natively was kind of gone at this point.
Like it wasn't gone, but it wasn't the majority anymore. People were sort of beginning to like sort of lose it, and like you still had the bishops knowing Coptic, most priests knowing Coptic. Yeah, it depends. I don't know about most, but you still had people knowing Coptic, but it wasn't the common sort of person might not know it.
Yeah, it was like until Al-Hakam bi Amr Allah, when he like ordered to cut the tongues of people who speaks different language than Coptic. Than Arabic, my bad.
At what point was Bohairic became predominant throughout Egypt? Like, I'm sure at some point they overlapped with Sahidic. At which point Bohairic was like, that's more 51%. Even if people don't understand, like liturgically 51%.
Liturgically, things got really standardized in the 12th century. In the 12th century, when you had Pope Gabriel II's canon saying, I know of those monks in Upper Egypt who pray other liturgies, but we want to standardize to the 3 that we keep today. So that's when you start having a little bit of standardizations in terms of like which anaphoras are prayed and which, and because of that, sort of consequently, the dialect sort of became a little bit more widespread. Like you still had Saharic versions of like the Gregorian liturgy, Brazilian liturgy, Syrian liturgies, but it becomes sort of more standardized to use the one from the Patriarchate.
Mm-hmm.
By the way,
But
if you have like, oh my, Kareem, I'm sorry, but again, but if you have like any like manuscripts that you can, you mentioned me because like I want to look at it, like because I was been like trying to find liturgies in Saharic Coptic. So yeah, if you
the
have
one I'm
like
actually,
online materials, yeah, if you have online materials for this, I would like I would appreciate it.
yeah, no, of course. There's a website that was made by Daliana Atanasova and a few other people in Göttingen. That they sort of compiled digitized manuscripts of Saharic Coptic Ifkhologia specifically. So they don't really, to my knowledge, they didn't keep like they didn't sort of store in that database any sort of liturgical fragments that they didn't conclude were parts of Ifkhologia. But I think they came with they sort of categorized into 4 different Ifkhologia. I think that was their hypothesis. One of them, like the most substantive one, is the one. It's called La Grande Ecologie, or the grand or the great Ifkhologion, or the Ifkhologion of the White Monastery. And if you know, it sounds like you know Arabic, but Epiphanius produced a translation, an edition of it in Arabic, with the Arabic title Khulagi Dir al-Abyad. Also, Father Don Emmanuel Lon produced also a French translation of it, but he had a couple of mistakes there under the title La Grande Ecologie. But both editions are missing a few leaves that were found later. I could send you the website to Atanasova's work that she did compiling all these things, and you could see the digitized editions and the transcriptions and stuff.
You can send them in the Discord chat.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll find it as we're finishing up and send it. I did cite it somewhere before, so I have it somewhere.
Last question before we actually start Coptic. Tell us one cool thing about medieval liturgy that you're studying, or at least why should we care about it? In one line.
I mean, in that particular manuscript, that Ifkhologia from the White Monastery, or Ifkhologion from the White Monastery, I found it fascinating because it includes a bunch of anaphora that we don't have anymore, and it's really cool because it doesn't only just include strictly Coptic anaphora that we don't pray anymore or we're sort of lost, but also it includes like Coptic translations of Syriac liturgies or Ethiopian liturgies. So, and it's one of the earliest sources of this sort of relationship between the Syriac liturgical tradition and Ethiopian liturgical tradition and Coptic liturgical tradition. Like one of my favorite liturgies in it, we only have like 3 pages of it or something. It's called the Liturgy of John of Bostra, or John of Bosra in Arabic, Yohanna Uskov Bosra in Arabic, or John of Bostra, or Johannes Bostra in Coptic or English, which is a Syriac Coptic translation of a Syriac liturgy. Apart from the cool sort of etymological fact that it was translated from Syriac into Coptic, which is not a common thing, and the fact that it sort of shows the relationship between the liturgies and the traditions. It's also just really cool. It's just a really cool liturgy. Theologically, it stands. It uses some language that you don't often find in the Coptic liturgical tradition. Coptic, like in the narrow sense, like the vernacularly Coptic liturgical tradition. So I found it fascinating. But other examples of in that same Ifkhologion, which it's really cool. That particular manuscript uses a sort of a more Greek than you would expect in a Coptic sort of text, and it's really interesting because some examples of the Greek that it uses is actually like, so some of these literature is translated from Greek. When you look at the Greek and they translate it into Coptic, sometimes it translates the Greek word into a different Greek word in Coptic. And the hypothesis is that, you know, it's just the translator knows that this word is used in this way in sort of the tradition that they're in or the community they're in or something. So it's really cool. Like, that has a lot of little cool sort of things like this.
That's really cool.
Very cool.
Does that not have to do with an alternate pre-existing Greek liturgy? It's just a different way of interpreting it, back translating it into ancient Greek or into Koine Greek?
So it's not really translated into, like, the person translating the liturgy, for all intents and purposes, they're translating into Coptic. It is Coptic, as we know, is like 20% Greek vocabulary.
Right.
It's just now and in certain cases, the Greek word that exists in the original Greek liturgy might sometimes can be used in the Coptic, but they choose a different Greek word that's used in the Coptic.
Semantic drift.
Yeah. Or another example is that they would use different, the one example I have in my mind is the Greek thesis for creation. Sometimes it translated to psont in Coptic, the say Coptic psont, and sometimes they'd leave it as kthesis in the same text. So some people hypothesize maybe it came maybe they translated plasma into psont and they left kthesis, and it's all these sort of things. But plasma also is used in Coptic, so why didn't they leave that one? So it's all these sort of fun language things.
Very cool. That was actually very cool. That's a fun fact. All right, let's get started. Last week we did compound names and adjectives. So at, ref, a whole bunch of things that come before the word that will give it a different, basically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Explain it. That converts it, basically. And the third feature. It has the meaning of, usually the easy way to think of it as I shall do something, but also usually comes right after certain keywords like chakos. So Karim, floor is yours.
So how do you usually do this? Do we usually go? Yeah, I know you told me we usually go around and try to solve the homework together.
Yeah, I usually do alphabetically, so I don't get confused, and I don't wait for volunteers.
Okay.
And
I think
we don't have a lot today, actually, so maybe we can do 2 each.
perfect. Okay. So alphabetically, that's what I'll concede. I like that idea. So Ben, do you wanna start us off with the first 2 exercises?
So I eschai nak enai saji jakas enek opsh en hov niven etai tsvo nak erol. So I wrote to you these words, I guess, these words, so that you will not forget the work which, or all the works which I taught you about, or which I taught you them. It's literally which I taught to you them.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
But the last part, but
yeah. No, that's right. That's correct. Do you usually go try and parse it, or should we just move on, Mark?
Your call.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Your call.
Whatever you want. If you want to ask me some parsing questions, I'm happy to try to answer, stumble on and make mistakes. So
no.
We can do 3 each, or is that what we're doing? Or
Let's do 2.
we usually do 3 or 4 depending on how long, but this one's kind of short, so it's really, I think it sounds like it's up to you and Mark. So
this is 2 because there isn't that many.
Yeah, we can do 2. Yeah, because there's not.
2?
Yeah, as Mark said, there are only a couple, only a few. But yeah, a few to highlight, I guess, because of the previous lessons. Enek is the negative third future. I'm trying to sort of pick out the things from the last lesson to highlight in the sentence. Yeah, I think that's the only thing explicitly from there.
I did want to ask about Jekas because is it it's a purpose clause, right? So is that's a fairly recent thing I think that got introduced. Is that used to mean anything other than so that? Looks kind of like je, or is it just used for purpose clauses here? I mean, not here, it's just a purpose clause, but
I can't think of other examples in my mind, to be honest.
Okay.
I know, yeah, like it's usually like, yeah, just a purpose, like so that something because of something.
Cool.
Mark, I don't know if you want to correct me on this.
Yeah, it's made of other thing. Etymology is complicated, but yeah, Jekas means to that, and always followed by third feature. That's all you need to know.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
All right.
Yeah, I can't think of other examples of way that it's used, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'll do the second one, or try to do the second. So now talo enhan mish enthusia enthusia je era penuti sotan or yeah penute sotan nu eshlil. So that's see. Oh, so. Oh yeah, right. It's future. Okay, so they will rise or
so actually
a raise.
Is it
or is it imperfect?
Yeah, I think it's
plus oo, right?
Imperfect. Yeah, I'm trying to like in Cyrillic would be an epsilon instead of an alpha, and reads yeah, preterite or imperfect.
Right. I think it's imperfect because the na. If it were
yeah,
perfect or preterite, it would just be like au talo or something.
Yeah.
I think. So they were raising many sacrifices or many offerings, and I wasn't sure what the difference between this jet and the last Jekas was, but like they're raising many offerings or sacrifices so that or that maybe it's like a result clause
yeah,
with the result that or so that God wait yeah so that Panuti so that God would hear their prayers.
Yeah, that's right. About the J versus Jekas, I think that's a Bohairic thing. Like I think in Sahiric it would consistently be Jekas, but in Bohairic I think sometimes it's used as just J. In addition to all the things that J also mean.
I think this editor sometimes adds different like he adds Sahidicisms into the Bohairic text here and there, so maybe that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Cool, thanks.
Cool, thank you. David.
Where is it?
All right. Kolem elrat MPA Gawon Jekas away Tamof et Benets or Shopichen Petimi. I'm thinking it's they hastened to him the hegemon so that they will call it for the things which probably happened in the village happened or
yeah, that's right. I would just highlight two things. The first thing is you're right in translating hegemon as hegemon, but it's interesting because a lot of early texts hegemon just means governor, and that's how you get the word hegemon into like sort of the liturgical tradition, like the sort of ecclesial tradition. It comes from just the Greek like hegemonos to just as a governor.
Thankfully, because they kept on forgetting what it actually is, and hegemon is common to English to a certain extent. I can just sort of cheat and just say hegemon.
Yeah. And Tamof, you can also you said like the I forget what you said actually.
I think I said to call. So
to
that
call,
they will
yeah.
call.
Yeah, it could be to call him or it could be like to tell him.
Mhm.
Because it's idbe, so like about or for.
Wait, tamo isn't to call.
To be to tell him.
Maybe I looked that up wrong.
You probably mean muti. Muti means to call.
Oh, to show. Sorry.
Yeah, like to show him, to tell him about. Yeah, I just looked it up. It's just to make known to him, to inform him.
In case you want to remember it comes from Amy, which means to learn, and T causative, so to cause someone to learn, so to tell.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Enetin Sotem Enisaji Eniat Atet.
Bless you.
Thank you. Was it you guys well, I guess listen to the words of the heartless or thoughtless, it could be. And I always mess up this tense.
The second part is right. I think the first part is
Isn't it second?
I think it's the negative third future.
Yeah, oh, it's negative third future? Okay.
Yeah.
You guys shall not listen to the words of the thoughtless or heartless.
Yeah, the thought, yeah, like the ignorance.
Mhm.
Perfect, thank you. Karos.
So okay, like this. I think that their gods were the ones who are dead.
Right, yeah. Or I think their gods, yeah, are dead, or are the ones that are, yeah, okay, that's good, yeah. Thank you. Okay, so the next one.
أو كود بيسناو جي إودي دوت إن بويود نخلو. They built them the two houses that they may help their old father.
Can you say it again? Sorry.
They built them the two houses that they may help their old father. I just literally translated it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, they built them. Yeah, yeah, like they. Yeah, them. The second, the them is like in English you wouldn't. Yeah, but that's right. Yeah, like they built the two houses.
This is quote, not quote. Wait, David always corrects me on this. David, which verb is this? This is not Koti. No, this is Koti.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
This is.
So
I always get
this is
confused.
Rudy?
This is
Oh.
Koti.
You're right. You're right.
Wait, or quote.
No, you're right. They returned. Right.
Yes.
Wait, let's check.
This is not the build one.
I'm gonna check.
This is not the build.
Yeah, this is they returned. They both returned. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the two of them returned, or they returned the two of them to the house.
Give me one moment. Oh yeah, it's a turn. Why? What? Is there no difference?
No, one is Koti, one is Quote. Or you mean the pre?
Yeah,
For the
like-
pre-pronomial form, it doesn't appear that there's like a easy distinction, or that they're just the same, written the same, I should say. In my very
and also-
brief searching of the dictionary.
And you would know it's return, not build, because just it says like quote, it's reflexive. So, and it's like a, not m.
Yeah. Yeah, like this would be the Saharic kto.
Kto,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
But even or kote, yeah, like omega, like kappa, omega, tau, epsilon. Yeah, like to hrai or kote, yeah.
So would build not would the prepronominal build not have of coat? Would that not have the u on the end because it's not reflexive, or but koti does? Is that how you could tell the difference, or is it just context? Because the form of both is has a short omicron like coat.
Yeah, I don't know. Like in this Sahidic, it's different. It would be like you could have a reflexive form in Sahidic, but it's a slightly different form. I don't know, Mark, if you know for Bohairic how.
The way I was just able to tell it is like our kotu, just like it's reflexive. So and there's no and it says like one house, but it says it's context. To answer your question, just
Yeah,
context.
like the thing that like gave it away for me was the second thing that Mark brought up, that it's APE as opposed to MPE. That it's like to the house as opposed to like the house is the indirect object as opposed to the direct object.
Would have a different mark. Wouldn't have the M there, or
like it would have an M as opposed to
it would have
like
an extra
before
M.
yeah, like before PE it would be
Okay,
like
it would have
MPE.
two M's before. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. Cool. Oh, before the house. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like the house would be the direct object as opposed to an indirect object. But like ultimately beyond that, it's context. You could technically like make an argument saying, you know, they built to the house or something, but it just doesn't like at that point. I think it's just context in my mind, at least.
Oh, that's helpful. Thanks.
Mm.
Those verbs are very similar in form, so it's kind of tricky.
Yeah.
So glad we talked about that.
Yeah, and I know there are examples in Sahidic of reflexive forms of quote, but not kote. Kote, you have examples of the state of form, but I don't know if that's just my own ignorance or if it actually doesn't exist. Yeah. All right. We can restart. Ben.
Okay, so we're on Nara. So Nara Nishiri Empensach or Empensachoi. You had a
No, sorry. Let me make
that
it. It's not sahoy. It's
I think it's just Empensach.
So
and then you have
Oh, Sahi.
no. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Take your time.
Should I get the right color? Okay.
Okay.
Look
Right,
at this
so
word. Extra word.
extra word. Okay. Nara Nisheri Empensach Oi En At Sotem. Okay. Sachoi. Okay, got it. So all right, so that's imperfect, I think. So Shiri is so the children were not listening. Yeah, the children, because it goes with at. The children were not listening to to my teacher. No, to our teacher.
yeah.
And I don't know what the oi is on the end there, but
Yeah,
I think it'd be ooh, right? Or I'm not sure.
I think you could, like it could be correct without the correction mark, no? Like pensach and atzoten.
Well, what were you thinking with adding the correction?
Then you would have to use ne because ne can work on adverbial sentence. Nare comes always with a verb. For nare, you must have a verb. Nare is a verb converter.
You do have a. Oh, you don't have a verb here. Okay, I see.
Oh,
So-
because that's more of an adjective, right? And not sotem.
If you think of it in the present, so the way I think of them is just like I thought of it like, okay, what would be in the present? I'm like, not sure. Wait.
T sotem?
You would always have to end up with like shopi. Sorry, no, it's like shop. Oi, gotta use something
Mm-hmm.
to do it in the present for adjectives.
That
Sorry.
makes sense.
Okay. But this
Right.
is
Oh, you could have said,
Nara is imperfect, right? Or
and
is that
just,
Yeah.
you could have
Okay.
also said, like in present, you could have said nishiri en pensar, nishiri en pensar, ne niat sotem, or ni just
Yeah.
niat sotem. So it has, like, are the disobedience. So you use it as a noun, but if you want to use it as an adjective, you must use a verb to make it an adjective. Otherwise, it can be a predicate.
okay?
Mm.
Cool. So next one is enek chiwi eni enka enek and or enek siu siu. So enek chiwi. I don't know what this one is. So you will. This is a third future. Like you will not pretty much use find or take.
Kind of.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could like say steal.
Oh, it's steel. Okay, it's like
Yeah.
like that earlier sign that's written with a duck in the Egyptian hieroglyphs.
Yeah.
Okay, so you shall not steal or will not steal the Enka.
You know
Of
Nekets
your what is it?
for Enkai or Enkai. You know Nekets from earlier Egyptian?
Naked? I don't. I'm guessing it's treasure or something, but I'm not sure.
It's
Gold
just
nuggets?
things.
Oh, it's just like stuff or possessions or things.
Things
it's
property.
like Enket. Okay. What is it spelled like in earlier Egyptian? I'm trying to remember.
I just always see it as Neket.
Neket. Okay.
NKT.
NKT. Oh, just meaning things. Okay. Yep. Stuff. Okay, so you will not steal stuff, or you not steal the things. Nuggets, right? You will not steal the nuggets of your brothers.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You won't leave the things of your brothers.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like the remembering it with nugget. That's kind of fun. So.
Nuggets. Yeah. Thank you. David.
All right.
I'm not. Sorry. I don't think Cross went. Did he? Cross, did you go? Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
All right.
Oh.
Awi chiwi hen piejor wo achi empesoma evo genti hen pitapos. I thought tapos was feminine. Am I? Maybe I'm just misremembering.
I think in Greek it's neuter. So
in Greek it is neuter, yeah.
If it's neutered, then it's masculine, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. They came. Is it just to steal or stealing? They
came in chewy.
Yeah, it is to steal.
Yeah.
What?
The chiwi is to steal, but not
Ew.
probably not in the how and not probably not in this construct.
Oh, not to wait.
I think it's just quietly, or
Stealthy.
Stealthy.
I think it's
Oh.
yeah, quietly or something like that. Yeah.
Adverb.
Oh,
That's
they came stealthily in the night, and they took his body from the tomb.
They came stealthily in the night and took his body. Yeah, yeah. Of chief from the tomb. Yeah, that's right.
For Tapos, I was thinking of Traposa, but that would have been wrong, and that would
Yeah.
have not made as much sense.
Yeah, no, Tophos, like you identified it right. Like it's just the Greek,
Mhm.
like
Greek nonsense. It's all Greek to me.
Hey, we have epitaph in English, so you know.
All right. Me pi logos av Chisarx ibo genti parthenos. Sarx.
Hey, you get the 2 Greek words in here. Or no,
Yeah.
at least maybe more than that.
You got 3.
I will give you hints.
Actually,
Two.
every noun is a Greek word. Even interrogation noun, I think, is Greek, right? Me is Greek.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
you're right.
remember
Yeah,
what
there you
meh
go.
3
is.
Greek words: Logos, Sarx, and the Parthenos.
and me.
What
And
is
me?
me? I don't know. I don't know what me is.
It's usually not with an imperative in Greek, but it can also be a negative question sometimes for main.
Yeah, like is it
Okay.
not this or
The mind. Yeah, the mind.
The Logos.
He took body from the Virgin. Huh?
It's not mine.
Logos.
no? Yeah,
Logos.
logos.
Okay, I'm gonna give you.
Logos.
I'm gonna give you a hint. Inarchi and Logos.
That's not gonna help me. Whatever hint you think.
I don't know that.
Gospel of John. In the beginning there was.
The
Oh, the word.
Yep.
Is it not the words he?
So P
Took
like it would be
form?
a singular.
Hmm?
So think of the Greek like like interrogative sort of form with me. Like is the or has the or or has not or something like that.
Has the word taken flesh from the Virgin?
Yeah,
This
like
is a past tense. So we're gonna be did the word took flesh from the Virgin.
I think the me makes it a question.
Yeah,
like
it is a question.
Yeah. So did the word take flesh from the Virgin, or has the word taken flesh from the Virgin?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like a question expecting the answer yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Like.
Did
Yeah.
it not happen this way? Of course it happened that way. So it's kind of the
Yeah.
idea.
So David, remember we covered very early on. Coptic doesn't really have a way to do question where we don't switch verbs. So one of the thing was like, you are the son of God. So entok pe shirim pnute. And when someone asks Christ, "Are you the son of God?" It looks exactly the same. You are the son of God in Coptic because there's no way to tell it. So me can help. It's a Greek thing, so it's not a Coptic thing. Coptic doesn't have it, so it's Greek. So if I tell you, if I want to really be precise, that are you the son of God? I would say me entok shirim pnute. So now I know.
I mean, this was gonna be solved if we had like question mark that would like tell you, yeah, this is a question.
Yeah. So yes. So
Punctuation.
you are the son of God, and when you put me, just make it a question. So are you the son of God? So in this case, the logos took flesh. Or did the logos take flesh? That's it. So.
But I think Ben is right. Like at least in the Greek, like it's a question that, like, it puts it in the negation. Like,
Oh.
as like did the question, did the Lord not take flesh? Like it's a question that sort of expects a.
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Is this still the same in Coptic, or
I wonder. It's not very common in Saharic, to be honest.
I always took it as hell in Arabic. You know, hell.
Hell, yeah.
But it's different than is it not?
Yeah.
So it isn't strictly hell.
Yeah.
Okay,
What
but
does that mean in Arabic?
like
How would you translate that into English?
Nothing. It's like, are you the son of God?
mean,
It's a
It
thing.
just makes it a question.
Yeah.
kind of makes
Okay.
sense in Egyptian Arabic. Like مش الكلمة تجسد من العذراء.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. Like mish. Actually, yeah. It's
a good one, which is like literally, did it not? Oh, that's actually a good one.
English has a very similar thing, but it's most people in speech use it informally. It says, aren't you the son of, aren't you the son of like Tim? Aren't you Tim's
Yeah.
son? Like, it's used more informally than that, but it's a similar kind of thing where we don't even think about it as a negated question, but
So it's not that it's expecting yes or no. It's more like you're hoping to expect a yes. It's not like, hey, did you eat today? It's more like
yeah, it doesn't necessarily expect yes, like a simple yes or a simple no.
Okay.
It just expects you to answer in the affirmative. Like, of course he is,
Interesting.
Isn't he? Of course he is. Yeah. Latin has something similar. If you ever do Latin, that's with num and none. None expects an answer yes, and num expects an answer no. So,
Yeah.
but Greek has a similar thing that sometimes.
Very cool. Thank you, Coptic, for borrowing this.
I'm trying to learn Latin right now, so it's.
Let me know on the Discord if you want any advice with that. That was my first first language other than English that I learned a lot about grammar from English from studying Latin. So.
Yeah, I could see that, but I'm still in my beginnings of learning Latin. I'm very. I might reach out to you though.
Yeah, let me know. Always happy to help.
Thank you. So David, second one. Or did you did one, right?
I did two.
Oh, you did two. Okay.
I did Awe Chiwi and then Me Pilokos.
Gotcha. Karos.
Okay. Abi Angelos inaf khani urasawi owo avdamov. Who that healed you from your illness or disease?
Who's the one before number 11?
What?
Number 11.
So Apyan, like you read the right one, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Wait, I do 11?
Yes.
Yeah, I just said it. Oh yeah, I forgot to continue, my bad. أبي أنجيلوس يناف خن ورساوي أبو أفدامه خن إدباني صاجي. The angel came to him in a dream and informed him concerning these words.
Yeah, so the angel came to him in a dream and revealed to him these. Perfect, yes. Perfect. So number 12, please.
نيمبيا ضف دالشوك أول خن بكشوني. Would I heal you from your illness?
He is the one. Right, yes.
Yeah.
From your illness, yes. Good, thank you. And then we go back to the beginning. Ben.
Okay, so Pyromi Usini, or is that Uasini and Savi Pe. So this man, This man, it's find or take. I can't remember. Not take.
No,
G means
no.
find.
So think of it like they're both functionally, yeah. Like so, insave would be like an adjective, and usini would be the a noun, and then pay is the verb in this.
Oh, okay.
It's not really a verb, but you know.
Right. It is the sabe. Okay, so man. Okay, so this man is
So,
a wise. I want to say teacher, but I'm not sure.
it would be like a doctor, Sini, I think, right, Mark?
Ini? Is that
Yeah.
doctor? Okay, so this man is a wise doctor, or this man, he is a wise doctor. It's like the
Yeah, exactly.
okay. And then that's like the cleft sentence thing happening, I think.
Right.
Cool. And then emper oti pa eshpir. Okay, so this is hoti let's see. So this is a you feminine singular, right? So emper
so no, actually
it's means to do. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like impair would be the negative imperative.
Okay, so do not, and er is there for do.
Yeah.
Do not hoti my friend.
Yeah. So yeah, hote is like fear.
Fear, okay.
Yeah.
So do not fear my friend.
Yeah.
And is this a vocative, or it's not the direct object of it? It's like not saying don't be afraid of Bob. He's, it's more saying don't be afraid, my friend. We're talking to your friend.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. It would be like parallel to the Greek vocative, yeah. I don't think the like Coptic doesn't really have like a formal vocative. We just sort of speak of it that way, but like you just say it's like sort of an imperative. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
David.
All right. So we're at Wanishti te tef metre. I'm going to translate all the words individually, and then I'm going to put it all together nicely. Great. Copula / is his really words of testimony, words of witness. So I would go with his testimony is great.
His testimony is great. Yeah. Metre is
metre is witness, and then
met like abstraction.
Abstraction, and earlier it's translated as thing, words, or speech. And I thought that for me made met far easier to translate.
Yeah. It's all. I was just forgetting method for some reason, but yeah, no, that's right. His witness is great. Okay. Next one.
Ausperi wo awenishti en hoti shopichen tumeti. They did miracles, right? What?
So shvir would be like the verb to be amazed.
Okay. They amazed, and a great.
But don't forget the like before the ishvir.
Right, it's like
to do the thing, like they
right, they amazed.
But no, but they were amazed because they did the action of being amazed.
I think David said it just in poor English.
Like they didn't amaze someone else.
They amaze them.
Oh, sorry. David is saying it wrong. Sorry, my bad. David is saying it wrong with good English.
Okay.
So it is like to do, when you
right. I know it's doing. I think Mark, when you said wonder or not wonder, it is
wonder. Just use wonder as a better translation because it will help you once you make it a verb.
Okay. Yeah. I mean I did it with miracles, so like they do miracle type thing. That's what I was trying to do at first, but yeah.
No. So sorry, go ahead, Karim. Yeah, David, I just want to confirm you're wrong, but yes, you are wrong.
No, like yeah. So like if the shvir is like wonder or amaze or something, like if that's the verb, the error makes it such that the subject of the sentence is the one doing the thing. So they're sort of almost the object of the verb in a sense. So like they didn't amaze someone; they were they themselves were amazed, or they themselves wondered.
Okay, all right. They were amazed, and a great fear, and there's a great fear in their midst.
Yeah, happened in their midst. I don't know if this I forget the order of the lessons in Lambden, but the third person past like the third person plural perfect tense can be used for indirect sorry, passive, for the passive voice.
Passive, yeah, passive.
Yeah. So you can say also like a because of, well, actually no, Shopi only apply. Never mind, you can ignore that. In my mind, Shopi came before the Aunishi, but that's not the case. So yeah, you could say like they were amazed and a great fear came or happened in their midst. Yeah, well, that's right.
Just a clarification, David. I know this confused me as well. Where you say shperi means, a miracle, and then ereshperi would think is like do a miracle. But this is not what in this, like when you attach it in this form looks like. Remember, we said it makes the word a verb rather than to do, not always to do something, which is also why we use it as it means to become. So one of the good examples that always confused me in the beginning was in the temptation, Satan telling Christ, if you're a son of God, make this bread, make the stone bread. And the verb that's used is actually oik. So it's oik in Sahidic, and whatever the Bohairic is should be like is it Omicron or Omega?
It's Omicron.
No,
Omicron.
I think Omicron, yeah.
So oik. It doesn't mean do bread, like go make bread.
Wait.
No, the stone. So it's not like, it's like the stone oik. So it's not that the stone will go and make bread. It's the stone becomes bread. Think of it. Remember, the stone breads, which becomes bread. Similarly, if it means wonder, something amazing, it's not you're doing something amazing, it's like they were amazed, they wonder, so they do they do or become the thing. So don't take don't take so hoti. So a good example is hoti. Hoti means fear. Hoti isn't to do fear. If you think it's like, hey, do fear, you would think it was like go scare someone, but it isn't. It's like basically fears. So he fears. So in this case, he wonders. I know because it's how it's attached to can be confusing, and it does confuse me sometimes. But I just put it in English and it's like fear. So just the stone breads. That means the stone becomes bread. We also mentioned after starts Romi. We can say Christ af Romi. and it doesn't mean he made man. It's he mans, which means he became man, which is so that's the incarnated of Chisarks. That's the one that translates English to he became man. Of Romi, he mans. If you want to say Erwaini, that means something lights up. Doesn't mean go turn on the light. So we say the sun Erwaini, which means, or I don't know, you know what I mean. Basically, lights.
Like Pioini taught me Fiat Uoini, like which light who enlightens.
Yes, enlightens. Who enlightens the world? Rather than he did not turn on the light. He lights.
Yeah, he lights, and then because it has a direct objective, like he lights the.
Best way to learn it is just memorize it. I know Arshpiri means he wondered or marveled. That's if you look in the dictionary, just be marveled, wondered, amazed. They were amazed. If I want to say,
it also doesn't take a direct object, right? Because these are all these examples are like intransitive, so they're just.
You can say af erwoini in P lampas, or what's the Bohairic word? Chips. I think chips.
What's that? Sorry.
The word for I think lamp in Bohairic is like chips. You can say af erwoini in P chips. He light. No, you're right.
That's a prepositional
like
thing,
right?
Yeah. You're right. Probably
I think Ben is right.
Doesn't take. I never thought of it this far, but yes, usually something becomes or something does something. If it happens to have an object, just because it makes sense.
It happens back to the subject, like he becomes or like it becomes.
Yeah. He becomes bread. Yeah, I can't think of a direct object, but yes.
That's right.
Cool.
Could be. That's helpful.
I'm sold by that theory. I'm convinced. If there's no direct object, I'll hold it to be true until
I'm dealing with
find
Sumerian right now, and there's all these verbs that like they look completely different if they're transitive versus they're intransitive. Also, there's not gender, there's animacy. It's kind of a mess, but it's so that's kind of what I'm going with now.
Yeah.
I think early Proto-Indo-European was animate and inanimate.
That might have become the genders that were used after a while for grammatical gender. That's one thing I heard about it. But
I think
originally there were two genders, and eventually one of them split. Masculine Indo-European gender split into neuter and masculine, whereas originally it was just like two. One theory I heard about recently, but I don't know. But again, completely different language family. Sorry.
No, it's interesting to think through how different languages do things. I think I personally find it helpful. Like Mark advised me when I started learning Coptic. Think of Coptic how you think of Arabic as opposed to how you think of English. And I think the way languages relate, just if you know one language, it makes sort of the patterns sometimes are similar. Okay, Karas.
Okay, so this is like literally I wonder what is this, but like anyways, so I said like Oramen ton ben tok anok Oramen kemi. So like what are you from? And he said like I'm Egyptian. That's it.
That's right. That's perfect. Oramen ton, yeah. Ben tok. Yeah.
Okay.
No, like of where are you a man of? Like where are you from? And
yeah, or like where you belong to.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah.
A man of where?
A man of where? Yeah.
A man of where? Like Coptic is like, huh? You could just say where you're from, like without Urem tone. Okay. Uadaku, but anyways, the next question, Uadaku beabinomos in image choice. The law of the Lord is undestroyable.
Sorry, I know like whatever pronunciation you choose to adhere to, you have double T's, so that
yeah, so it was gonna be ataku.
So we attako. So you have to stress the T attako.
Yeah. Attako Uadaku beabinomos image choice. The law of God is undestroyable.
That's right, yeah. Is this it?
That's it.
That's it.
Today is very short.
That was the shortest thing. In
Yeah,
a
because
long
there were
time.
gonna be balawi tanya.
I guess somehow Matar predicted this and knew there's a presidential debate for our entertainment at night. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, Karim, do you want to share your screen so you can go over the lessons in any way you want, or you want me to tell, or you want to tell me to scroll? Completely up to you.
You can keep sharing it. I can just
Okay,
you
you can tell me
yeah.
the next page.
Okay. So Mark vaguely told me how you guys do things, so I'll try to keep as consistent with his pattern as I can, but tell me if something doesn't make sense. It seems, I mean, you all are already familiar, like sort of with languages and stuff. So I'll give a very sort of brief explanation of what the habitual is. But do tell me if I'm not going into enough detail.
You have 15 minutes, all yours.
Take them. I'm gonna go slowly. So the habitual in Coptic is off. It's a weird. It's not itself weird, but the issue is that when translating it, it becomes a little strange, because there's no equivalent for it in English proper. Oftentimes we translate it in the same way that we would translate the present. But what it means is things that are almost sort of timelessly true. Like when I say my hair is black, I have black hair, or I like watermelons or something. It's not saying that I'm currently in the state of having black hair or in the state of doing the thing of liking watermelons. It just speaks to a sort of an abstract truth. Not abstract maybe is a bad word for describing it, but maybe like a timeless thing. It's not necessarily related to time. It's not necessarily past, present, or future. It's just something that's overarchingly true.
Could you say continuously? My hair is continuously black. It would be kind of silly in English, but it would be more so direct in what you're trying to get at.
Yeah. Like oftentimes, people try sometimes to stress it with this sort of construction, or people have different ways of doing it. But the commonly people will just try to say it in English. The examples when I was when I learned Coptic from London, the Saharic just gives I write or I work, but I think these are bad examples because these are often sort of time the thing, like I'm writing right now or a thing. But maybe in those examples actually I would opt to do something that's more similar to what you suggested.
Could you put always in it, like I always write? And
but then
work,
you'll get into debates oftentimes with linguists and stuff, because somebody would say oh, but you're sort of injecting a word that doesn't really exist or something. But I think I think conceptually that's the idea. Yeah, it's in general I write, or in general my hair is black, or in general I like chocolate, or whatever. Yeah, the sun rises from the east. It doesn't mean it's currently rising from the east. It's just that's what happens. It rises.
That's actually a very good example. Thank you, Karim. Yeah, you can say Shari, the sun rises from the east. That's a fact, and yeah, but it doesn't. You can actually be at night. Huh, that's good. That's actually a perfect example of how is it different than present. Thank you. I'll think about an example to use, and thank you. I actually think about it as I'm writing this. That's not what I'm thinking about. This is perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, but David and when you brought up good points, that in the examples that it is ambiguous. Sometimes you might want to opt to insert something to emphasize the fact that it's habitual as opposed to just a present. But at least sort of conceptually, first, this is good to demonstrate what the meaning is.
I like to think of the present in Coptic as present continuous. So I am writing, I am eating. If I see Share Promisotin, that means just the man has a sense of hearing. That's it. You can say Impare Beethoven Sotem.
I don't listen to you don't? I was actually listening to Beethoven just before this.
Great. So no, like Beethoven doesn't hear as a
Yeah.
fact because he was deaf.
Oh, I misheard what you said.
No, not Empire. Empire Beethoven.
Beethoven can hear, but like it's
Not
like not like the not like
Is-
always like he did. He like used some techniques or something like that so he can hear the notes.
I think his last
Forgot
symphony,
how he do, but like yeah.
he did not hear his last symphony that we know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he
complete.
lost his sense of hearing.
Yeah, complete. So you can say that. So it's not like, hey, he's ignoring me. If you say Beethoven, in Beethoven Sotem on. Wait, no, I messed up the verbs. Sounds about right. That means he's not he's not listening. This guy is annoying. But if you say Empire Beethoven Sotem, that means just Beethoven that's not here. He's basically deaf. So
Yeah.
actually, so Empire Beethoven Sotem, that means deaf. Well,
Yeah. Conceptually, like, yeah.
Conceptually, yeah.
So like can like deaf can mean like atsotem like this? Just put at and sotem.
Yes. Sotem is unhearing. That means disobedient. Yeah, kind of. But I'm saying deaf as in like the meaning, what the meaning implied, other than like the actual definition. Yeah, Sotem probably disobedient or here or unhearing. Yeah.
Well, if you want to use the disability as an example, we already have the word for like blindness, so a blind person, so vela. We could probably come up with some sentences, not right now, but in general. So we have verbs for to see and to be blind and eye, so and light.
Yeah. Mark, were you gonna say something? Or?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So these are the forms. You guys can go through them, but yeah, you know the short form is but they follow the same sort of pattern that we're familiar with now, like shy, shog, share, shaf, shas, shan, shareten.
If I were to say impaf now, could you translate it as he is sightless? I mean, not directly, but essentially same meaning.
Yeah, like he doesn't see, or like the meaning, yes. It's just
Right.
it's gonna be like technically sort of accurate. It's a verb still. Like this is still like a verbal paradigm. So so you want to put it in the sort of verbal sense. So like it technically, like what Mark put down, he's deaf. It like in the technical sense, you want to put it in a verb still, like, to make it sort of technically accurate. But that's the idea, is that this is generally true, which then leads to the logical conclusion that they're deaf or blind or something, or can't see or something or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot to it. This is one of the simpler cases, because there's not a lot of it's quite clear, because I think it's the only one that uses the shy in its construction, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so it's often easily, at least the affirmative sense or case of it is usually clear, and it doesn't have a lot of exception, doesn't have a lot of anything that's sort of strange. It's usually pretty straightforward. Sometimes though you use the imperfect converter before it. So like if you remember the imperfect converter from the last lesson, I believe, you put if you see the imperfect tense converter before the habitual case, like can't think of the technical term, but the habitual paradigm. you make it. It's used to sort of make the past tense explicit, but it still makes it sort of ambiguously true. So, for instance, if you say "ne shaf iskhai," it means he used it to write, but the writing in the past is still true in general. Like for instance, if I had long hair, it was true in general before, but now it's no longer true. So it's in the past in that sense. If you put the imperfect converter before. Also, I'm just going through. I think this is also in the same order that the book goes through, but I'm just going through some sort of ways that it's used. The habitual form is also it's like important to note that the subject resumption, I guess, is required when it's used in the relative form. So, for example, if we want to say the man who does these things, or the man who does this, does this thing, you would say like Piromi, Ishraf, Irpai. Notice that we put a subject before it, and we want to sort of resume the thing that the subject is doing. Then we're using the a before like the epsilon before the paradigm, before the shaf. Yeah, it's the habitual is a part of the tripartite conjugation, and only the infinitive can be used as a verb in the verbal spot.
For tripartite, when it says only infinitive, does that mean we can't use qualitative, or we can't use the prenominal and pre-pronominal forms? I forgot all the time.
Like the question about the tripartite or the infinitive.
Does that mean I can say Jake Evil and it has to be joke? Or are you saying I can say Jos and it has to be Joe Emos? I always forgot when you say infinitive, which
say
one?
The first thing again. Say the first example again.
I can't use, when it says use the infinitive only, does that mean I cannot use qualitative, which I think I'm wrong? I mean, you should be able to.
No, it's not about.
I can't use the prenominal, pre-pronominal.
Prenominal, pre-pronominal.
Okay, so I can say Shaf Jos. It has to be Shaf.
Yeah, Shaf Jo Emos. Yeah.
Emos. Okay, I always forget this. Okay. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, I'm sorry I'm stuttering a lot. I'm just I have some notes and I'm trying to pick out what's the most, like what makes the most sense to say.
No worries, we keep interrupting you, so no problem.
No. So rhetorically, like to sort of emphasize rhetoric and all these sorts of things, the order of the construction can sort of play with that. So the sort of the neutral, non-emphasized form is that you start with the verbal prefix, the subject, verb, object, and then the adverb, stuff like adverbial elements. So, for instance, like in the examples that we gave, or actually that's given in what's the book by Matar? Shavmuti Rov Jeyohannes. Verbal prefix, Actually, that doesn't look. Yeah, so verbal prefix. The subject is the in the pronoun. The verb muti. Rof objects, and then J Johannes. So that's sort of the neutral form. That's the non-emphasized form. But there are other ways to emphasize it, sort of for rhetorical value. So the verbal prefix, for example, can be converted to like a second tense, and it puts up a strong emphasis on the adverbial elements. So often, leaving you with like cleft sentences in English translation, like when you go to translate into English. So, in that pattern of cleft sentences, with the pete or ne, so it takes the pete or ne plus a relative form. It gives sort of a special prominence to the subject or the object. Otherwise, you could have a somewhat weaker emphasis by placing sort of specific elements of the clause at the beginning of the sentence. And these are usually sort of resumed pronominally, as in like in the pronoun, in the clause, unless they're just sort of simple adverbial phrases. Do
you mean like instead of they call him John, like something like John is what they call him?
Exactly
like
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the example I had in mind was like, Anok the empath chine moy, like me, they didn't find. Or like they didn't find or something. And it leaves you with this
Instead
sort
of they
question.
didn't find me, it's a little bit of the
Exactly. And it leaves you with this cleft sentence that emphasizes either the subject or the object. And it's just a rhetorical device that's sort of often used to do these, to emphasize different things in the sentence. You can also have the independent pronouns used to emphasize suffix pronouns. So, for example, you could say like him Petrosotem de Anok, like but when I heard, or it bitek and tok, for your sake, like emphasizing the your. عشان كنت yeah, actually this worked very well in Arabic. Thank you, Mark. Because the same sort of pattern works in Arabic. Like if you want to emphasize the for the sake of you, like if you want to emphasize the you put it that way also. Yeah, sorry, I'm not a good teacher. I'm finding. I apologize.
No, you're doing great.
Thanks, man.
No
I am no better.
Sorry?
I said I am no better.
Oh,
No.
decisions are here.
علشانك انت
علشانك انت, exactly.
يا غالي.
So what did we say? We stopped at the it be the can talk. So if you notice there, it's repeating the you, like Edvitek for you, and talk you. It's like for the sake of you or for your sake. It sort of emphasizes the 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 object of the sentence or the there are other examples of this in other paradigms that when it repeats the subject or the object, it gets translated into English in a way that tries to emphasize this. Like, for example, if you want to say like anokti tiarape Mark or something, like it's almost like it's translated like, as for me, I love Mark, or like even though in the Coptic, just like me, I love, like I love Mark. It's I don't know if again if that already was discussed in the previously or not, but this follows that same pattern of emphasis on the either subject or object. So yeah, you can also have the particles of is and ishite to add like sort of a something immediate to a statement that follows. For example, like ishite. I can't think of the thing in Bohairic, but in Saedic would be like ung thimhal image choice. Behold, I am the maidservant of the Lord. Yeah, right here. Thank you. It's not here. Oh no, it is there. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So is in this case in the Bohairic would be like hipe is or is hipe would be like an explicit sort of demonstration of the thing that's coming by, like behold this or look at this or this sort of thing. Oftentimes it's behold how it's translated, and it usually comes together like is and hiite. Although not always, and sometimes alone they can mean different things, but like is on its own, for example, can mean like not just behold, but like here it is, something. Like the example in the book it gives, like is texone, here is your sister, or or yeah, like, is Rebecca nas new, like here or there, Rebecca. Yeah, thank you. Came out. Not able.
And the verb is wrong. It's like, yeah, not e. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, so okay, so it's like there. Okay, interesting. Not just behold. Okay.
Yeah. Is he it? Like when it's is he it, then it's odd, like it's behold. But is on its own, and is it like also has its precedence in Greek also.
Oh, is this from Ace in Greek, or it's not from Coptic?
I honestly don't know. Like I know, you have is in Greek, like Ace, like emicron, so not emicron, epsilon, iota, sigma.
Yeah, that like means into, like with the accusative, like
yeah,
toward.
in some
completely different. Like,
yeah, so I'm not
there.
sure. Yeah, like I'm not sure about the etymology of it, to be honest. But I know in Sahidic, for instance, it's not like it is spelled in the same way as you would in the Greek, like epsilon, iota, sigma.
Hippe is Coptic. I remember looking at hippe or hitte is Coptic.
Yeah.
I wonder if just the east is related to Greek, if it's from some form of emi, like there is, but like SD. But I don't know how you would get ST to east. That like loses a lot of sound values.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, I honestly, yeah, this is just as I was reading it now, like this looks a lot like the. So I'm not sure, to be honest.
I know there was an older Egyptian word, but I'm forgetting how it's used. That has it's transliterated as like it's like a IS or JS. it's like a yud sound and then an S, and I forget how it's used, but it shows up in some uses. I'll look it up. See what I'm thinking of. I don't know. I wonder if this is a Greek origin or just another like very short Egyptian word.
Yeah, I mean,
It could be
like you
spelled
bring
the
it
same
up,
way.
yeah, and you bring up a good point. That's like it's short enough that it's not unlikely that it's, you know, in my opinion, the longer the word, the more explicit, sort of the more confident you can be that it actually comes from one language or another. But when it's so short, it's
Right, because they tend to spell a lot of the Greek words out, like 'cause they're using both languages for a lot of things. So
yeah. Um. And is can also be used like prepositionally. Like you could say an example here, like ishomti and rompimpe now eros. Like we haven't seen him for 3 years. Or like for 3 years we have not seen him. You also have if you scroll down, I wanted to make sure that it's the same in Bohairic as it is in Sahiric. But in the Sahiric, it's ho'of.
Or which one? What are you looking at?
Ho'o, like ho'ote.
Are you still looking at 28.3.2?
Yeah.
I don't know where you're looking. Oh,
It should be just before this.
wait, let me check. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. That's weird. They switched out the order.
No, yeah, whatever. Actually, yes, sure. Yeah.
Um,
Do you want to start from here?
we could, yeah. It's they're switched around from on my end, but it's all good. So you have there the imin or imun. It's used sort of to I don't know how to describe it, but to like sort of to like emphasize a possessiveness, like in the examples that it gives, you know, my own house, like Timi in his own village. So yeah, emoy mean emok, all that. It's emphasized like a possessiveness of the object in a possessive paradigm. Ho'o or ho'ote, like, thank you. Actually, no, we can go maybe. Okay, this is fine. Sorry.
Up to you. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, we can start with the mawatf. I think it's easier to explain before. It like it just means sort of like alone or by themselves or something. But it's in it stands sort of in actual, as it says in the book, in opposition to a preceding noun or pronoun. Like to say like by myself or alone or by himself or that sort of thing. So like anok and mawat, I alone. Yeah, nonis on ithre. Ipure mawat, yeah, the king alone.
Is it like king alone, as in sitting by himself, or like him alone did this? Like no one else did it with him.
Him alone.
So like the king alone conquered the country, or like
Yeah.
chilling alone in a desert.
Yeah, I can't think of examples that it was used that I've seen to describe as an adjective. So as a, sorry.
No, nothing.
Let him finish. That's right. Go ahead, Karim.
No, I can't think of examples off the top of my head that it was used as a,
As long.
yeah, as like a this person is alone.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I have one.
Yeah.
It's like في أدري هنشتي مش بري مواقف. This one
Yeah.
in the second host.
That's not lonely. That's like he did it by himself.
Oh, my
Yeah.
bad.
But that follows the same. For he alone was. Yeah, I can't think of examples of like he is alone, as opposed to like he alone does this or he alone. Yeah. And similar to the previous one, we have hu'ot, hu'ote, or hu'o with the suffix. It just means like also or to, like them too, or in the same way that like you would use the other one, the previous like imawat, or imawat as like Mark alone or the king alone. You would say like, oh, Mark too, or the king too, or I too. And
As in like also, like
yeah,
to,
also,
okay.
so like yeah, like two or so, or
Oh, I see. Oh, cool. Or like as well.
as well.
English has too many ways to do that.
Yeah, it sometimes translated as like moreover. Like an example, for example, I have here is like in the whole Pashviri, and you moreover my son, or like and you too my son, or like and you also my son. But it could be used, I mean, like in a sentence like that, like so sometimes translate like moreover or that sort of thing. I don't know if that example actually is here. And the ones that
they did however, which is pretty similar. However, on the other hand, is close. That's close to more. So
yeah. So we went through what mean. So we can go to 25 now. I think it's the same numbering, right? So K was previously discussed to mean K to mean like another or also or something. But it could also be used to emphasize strictly. For example, like PK Rome. PK Romi, thank you. Yeah, I'm thinking in Semitic for some reason, but like the man also, or the man too did this. It's similar to the previous meaning of like another or like you could see how it relates to another or other or something like the other man. But it could be used as an emphasizing sort of like a rhetorical device. Okay. I can't read your writing, man.
Afot.
Afot, the cup too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not saying the other cup or another cup. It's saying the cup too. Do this to it, to sort of emphasize it rhetorically. And you have these. I don't know if again Motor includes these here or not. If you scroll down.
Are you doing a row?
No, it's still in K, but like it has its other forms of like ku'uwi.
Oh, no, he doesn't have it here. Probably not in Bohairic.
I don't know if it's in Bohairic or not. Yeah.
I don't remember ever seeing them in Bohairic.
Yeah, they're usually used in the negative sense. To say like I saw nobody else, Impinov, Ike, cool. But I don't know if it occurs in Bohairic or not.
Don't see it here.
Yeah. But if you see ku'uwi or ku'uwith, ku'uwis, whatever, it's it's in the same like pattern as ho'ote or mawat or something, but it just also means like another person or something like that, but in often used again in that sort of rhetorical way to say like I saw nobody else, I saw, you know, there's no one else other than this sort of thing. But apparently not in Bohairic. I don't know. Okay, it's 28.6.
We missed 28.4.
Oh yes, sorry. I apologize. Yeah. So the pronoun iriu, it means, yeah, like each other or one another. And it's sort of it's used by as a possessive prefix almost, or after a possessive prefix, like as a suffix to it, like in the examples that he gives, like on mishinem menriu, we fought one another. Badena, yeah, like in Arabic. Mabad, yeah, exactly. Nasajinem nuriu, they were talking with each other. I don't know what Mark, I don't know what pattern of sort of like phonetics you guys use. I've been like switching between the like the ecclesial one and the like the.
Everyone has a different one. You choose whatever works for you.
I kind of go between them sometimes. Like if it's a Greek word, I'll pronounce it in Greek, but then in Coptic, I pronounce all the etas as etas. So it's, you know.
Yeah. I like I'm used to the like in the Sahidic, for example, it's not like eri u, it's like ereu.
Yeah. So the academic pronunciation that you would do in a Sahidic textbook is my recommended way to go.
Okay.
So if you pronounce it as Sahidic, you'll be fine.
All right.
That's what I also try and do as well. But,
Yeah.
but I think my beta has become a what Christian Casey was mentioning last time, which is realized as a Greek beta, usually in the IPA. I forget its name.
Okay.
Ancient Greek beta, modern Greek or beta. So
beta,
depends on which one you're using.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it? It's the sound. The sound is like a halfway between a B and a W. So va.
Oh yeah, in Coptic it's different. That's right. No.
In Coptic, even actually in like I know there are a few people who like there's a slightly older that was sort of a form of phonetics that was used ecclesially before like in the last century or something, and it pronounced like the veta like a wa. And actually,
I don't quite do the full. I don't do quite the full, quote unquote, old Bohairic, straight up wa. I just do va.
Yeah, like wa. Yeah. Like it's fun because like when you think about it, you could see a little bit how that happened, like from the birth to the
yeah, they're all kind of phonetically similar, maybe with some part of the lips. Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah. I haven't read enough about like phonetics and that sort of field of the world, but it's really interesting when somebody just sort of drops it on me. Yeah. So we are at 28.6. So yeah, so this part is about nouns with pronominal suffixes, and I think we've already seen examples in this in the exercises or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like a common example is like jo, which actually, as he mentions, it's been mostly sort of replaced by afe in normal usage. I don't know what he means by normal usage, but
like if you want to say someone's head, you just use
Mm.
okay. You don't Joe. Like in the normal use
yeah,
of the
yeah,
word.
like apart from needing a suffix, is what
Yes.
I understand it to be. But it's yeah. So this is where you get like prepositions like ijen, ijo, like and like ijen, ijo. A lot of prepositions in Coptic come from like body parts. You know, I'm trying to think of examples now, like in Heatif, like in the heart of him.
Yeah, actually, like Christian Casey, like did a video about it. Yeah, and actually, Mark showed it like it's lesson 9 in this.
Okay, yeah. So it's exactly, yeah, it's exactly this. It's a lot of prepositions just come from
So,
like body parts and Coptic.
Going a little bit earlier, would Joan
Um,
be our head? Joan?
2,000 years
Joan?
before Coptic was written, yes.
It's still the same in Demotic. That's the reason why I asked.
Yeah.
It's still Joan. Joan would be my head,
Yeah,
or our head.
200 before Coptic, I guess. Not
yeah.
200. I guess not 2,000 years,
Sorry?
maybe just 200 years. But yes, it's ancient that remains.
Yeah. That's it's exactly how it's used. Yeah, like we have the suffix to express like the you know, the head of this person. But yeah, you have all sorts of prepositions that come from it, like ijen, ijo, ijen, ijo. You also have hajen, hajo, like fijo to raise one's head, kajo to submit. Yeah, I was making sure that they're all here. Uejo to bow someone's head, and so on and so forth. Like and they all take the suffixes that we expect. I like your drawing.
I'm trying to remember the one that's down. Yeah, the butt that's downwards. That's or backward. Pasu,
Pahu.
right? Pahu,
Right.
pahu,
Pahu is backward. And
right backwards.
and
Yeah.
who is a way that back when it used to be singular, plural, and then dual in the like two. Pahu has
Right. Yeah.
which I think we
Because the dual is like ui and or something in older Egyptian.
also saw Naspotu. Actually, never mind. Don't want to make up stuff.
Yeah, Mark.
All right.
Yeah, you will be Da
Yes.
Vinci, bro.
Thank you. All right, we have
Yeah.
5 minutes because we have a presidential debate in 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
choose your battles. Actually, we're almost done, but yeah, we have.
But it's actually the like the rest of this section is exactly what Mark just drew. Like, you know, yeah, like for eye, and it has the like iyat with the suffix, ro for mouth with the suffix, to ot for hand with the suffix, and you form them in all different ways to form all these different prepositions that mean all these different things. And then the last piece. Well, I mean, it's just sort of an extension of this. Yeah, exactly. It's just the directional adverbs like evol, out, evon, and ri, up, see, down, all that stuff. It's yeah.
Just using a preposition like an adverb instead of like with something else as a preposition, or with a verb. Is that what this is saying?
It could be used. I'm pretty sure. Like I can think of examples for both. Like you know, famously, you know, Epshoy, Episi, Afshanaf Epshoy or something, where Afshanaf Episi, like he went down or up. You could use it in that way as a like an adverb. But you could sorry?
That makes sense. And they could also be used as a preposition, or at least some of these can just be prepositions.
Yeah.
And stuff.
And if you notice again, like Coptic is very compounded in many in everything that it is. You know, in its nouns, its verbs, and even adverbs and adjectives and everything. So if you notice, all these are just the relative with a thing. Like Pesit just means down, but Episit is like downwards. Like Shoy means up, Ipshoy is like upwards, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and this is just the thing to remember at the very end here. Like I thought these were at the beginning of
Yeah,
Lambda.
I don't remember why he's reviewing them, to be honest. I don't remember.
Yeah, they're at the beginning of this too.
Yeah.
I did want to quickly
For-
point
for-
something out. I looked up about the East race. So it is from Egyptian, not Greek, but the Sahidic version is spelled exactly the same way as the Greek preposition,
Yeah.
but it means behold in Demotic. In older Egyptian, it's just spelled like is, East. So
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like you guys know Egyptian. If you do, I recommend this book, the Etymological Dictionary.
Journey.
It's a
You
the
have- you
etymological. If you know Egyptian, it's very useful because it gives you the etymology, the Egyptian etymology often of all these Coptic words. You can find
Yeah, I
a
have
PDF.
it actually. I
Yeah.
have it, and it's. I remember like it's in the Google Doc for this course.
yeah, it's on the Discord.
Hi, Mark.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's a very good resource. Yep. Oh, I
Yeah.
also included a
I'm glad you guys knew about it.
key from older Egyptian for other, which reminded me of ke. So I don't know if it's exactly related, but I don't know, something there too.
I have no knowledge of Egyptian. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it was related, but it's really interesting too because K is like in Greek. It's also like, you know, oftentimes like K in Greek is transliterated in the Coptic as kappa epsilon as opposed to kappa alpha iota, and it means the same thing.
Like
So
like I and then K. Yeah, right. Because the older Greek pronunciation is Kai, and then in modern Greek it's Ki or K or something. So.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like in my mind, I didn't think of Egyptian at all because I don't know Egyptian, but that's sort of what struck me. Like with the K in the use in this lesson, like it's like I related it in my mind at least to the Greek like and, or you know, but
Oh, that makes sense. It's hard when they're like a lot of like small words and they could be spelled in the same alphabet but become from completely different places. So
yeah, like it especially struck me because like the Greek Chi, like or K is translated into the Coptic as like exactly this, like kappa epsilon. Like when in literature, for example, like when you say like keto pneumatisu, like
it's not written kappa alpha epsilon. It's like just written K, kappa epsilon.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't realize that. That's interesting. So they're just spelling it the way they pronounced it, and not
Yeah, and there's so many examples of this, like again, because there's so much Greek in the Coptic liturgy. Like you say, doxasi kyrie, and the C is not spelled out as the Greek like sigma omicron iota. It's spelled like it's just transliterated as like sigma iota. Yeah, it's really interesting.
it's really cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. Thank you. I don't know, Mark.
All right. Any more questions? Are we done?
I'm done.
Yeah, I think so.
You can add.
Yes.
We still have 4 more minutes. That's okay. Kidding. It's time. Thank you so much, Karim. That was very good. Thank you for the amazing examples. And you had a very short question, but a lot of 7 topics, 7 independent different topics. So thank you for going through this. I don't remember how long it took, but it was good. Perfect time. It was right on time.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for the fun intro. It was actually a fun intro.
Liturgy is fun. Coptic is fun. There's a lot of fun things to talk about.
Anyone has any questions?
Mm-mm.
All right. Let's call it a night and go enjoy the debate. Well, I don't know if you care. Just for fun. if I can.
And Mark, I'll send you the link for Karas to send it. If that's okay with like Atanasova's.
If you can put it on Discord on the Coptic channel or the Bohairic channel, that would be great. Otherwise, send it to me.
Okay, it's a Sahiric Coptic thing, so we can
Oh, put it on the Coptic channel. I'll put it on the Coptic channel.
Yeah, Coptic channel definitely. It's
Yeah.
both dialects.
People will love it. What's his name? Randy always looks for. He says whenever he sees a manuscript, he just saves it. So he might put it in the entire PDF.
Yeah.
I
mean,
hope a
like,
lot of people with that.
Randy like literally has one of the most like gets like most the text underneath out of تحت بير السلم. He takes it from there. Like I don't know where he got it from. All right,
guys.
Internet
Good night.
somewhere. Right. Have a good night, guys. Take care.
Yes, bye.
Next
Yeah.
week.
Bye.
Bye.